Greetings all, this is DC Wood here, back again with a brand new series for YouTube. First things first, the entire world has been affected by the whole coronavirus pandemic of 2020. Businesses, industries, entertainment, travel, families worldwide, households worldwide, everyone and everything has been affected by this. Wherever you are, stay safe, stay sane, stay strong. With me currently in furlough, I thought I'd take the opportunity to work on a series I've been meaning to do for ages. Got to find ways to keep myself busy, same as everyone else. So, welcome to my brand new weekly series. DC Wood reviews the Arrowverse, starting of course with Arrow Season 1. Now, my subscribers may recall a video I did a few years back where I ranked the various seasons of the Arrowverse, a franchise of interconnected live-action TV shows adapting various superheroes from DC Comics. Beginning with Arrow in 2012, multiple spin-off shows followed soon after Arrow's huge success. The Flash, Supergirl, DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, and of course, animated web series like Vixen and Freedom Fighters for Ray. There were other DC superhero shows, of course, like Constantine and Black Lightning, both of which were eventually integrated into the Arrowverse. Now, what you're about to see now is my original ranking of shows that I'd seen previously. New series, new shows have come and gone since then. So it's time to update this list and examine the various seasons individually. So we'll start, of course, with Arrow Season 1. This premiered on America's CW channel. Arrow started on 10th of October 2012, concluding its inaugural season after 23 episodes on 5th of May 2013. It was an instant rating success and introduced households to one of DC's more obscure heroes at the time, Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow. For this particular adaptation, we're introduced to Oliver, who was only recently returned to his home of Starling City. Originally a spoilt, cantankerous, womanizing billionaire, Oliver was presumed dead by his family and friends for 5 years after being lost at sea when the family yacht, known as the Queen's Gambit, went down. In reality, Oliver was stranded on a remote island called Liarnu and forced to do unspeakable things to survive. Now he's come home to right the wrongs of his family. Oliver Queen is no longer the man he was. He has become someone else. He has become something else, who must save his city and all he loves from the corrupt. Right, now for this series I'm going to be looking at both the pros and the cons of all the individual seasons of all the Arrowverse shows, and then I'm going to come to an ultimate conclusion regarding each of the seasons. Now, those who've seen my previous rankings of the Arrowverse seasons will remember that I'd originally ranked Arrow's first season 4th overall, and with plenty of good reason. There's only been an elite few seasons of Arrowverse shows which have outranked this one. 8 years later, Arrow Season 1, it still holds up as an essential piece of television. It really does. Arrow Season 1 set the standard for what these shows should be. High quality, visually excellent, complete with the perfect cast of characters that are so deep and well developed, great stories, everything. Stephen Amell immediately nailed the dual role of Oliver Queen here and the Hood, as he was dubbed before taking the moniker of the Arrow later on in the show, and then ultimately the Green Arrow. He's supported by the cast to match with the likes of Katie Cassidy, Laurel Lance, Oliver's ex-fiancée, Paul Blackthorne, Quentin Lance, Laurel's father, Susanna Thompson, who plays Moira, Oliver's mother, Willa Holland, who plays Oliver's sister Thea, David Ramsey, who plays John Diggle, Oliver's bodyguard and later close confidant, and of course Colin Donnell, who plays Tommy Merlin, Oliver's best friend. Of course, as the show goes on, more prominent characters would be introduced and made into regulars, but all the ingredients are all here for a compelling show, sublime presentation, a fantastic soundtrack courtesy of composer Blake Neely, a terrific story structure. It all makes Arrow so enthralling. The choreography and the fight scenes, the stunts, the action sequences, everything is so well directed here. And of course, there's the pacing as well regarding Arrow Season 1. I'm going to be honest, 23 episodes is a lot. In my opinion, it's too much for a TV series, or seasons as they're called in the US. You can get away with 13 episodes in my opinion. I mean, shows like Doctor Who and Daredevil have been able to pull it off successfully. But I think 6 episodes is the ideal length for a TV series, to be honest, any TV series. However, the creative team here, they perfectly paced Season 1. Unlike later seasons of Arrow and the DC shows, the overall narrative isn't stretched thin. In fact, it's pretty much perfect pacing overall. All the subplots, the characters, the episodic stories and primary story arc, everything is juggled perfectly here. Absolutely perfectly. With regards to the flashback format, I found this an ingenious way of showing just how different Oliver was 5 years prior compared to who he is in the present day. Piece by piece, we slowly start to learn how Oliver survived the Queen's Gambit sinking and what he had to do to survive. And it doesn't disjoint the present story either. It all feels relevant when it comes into diving into Oliver's psyche and his soul. Plus, elements from the flashbacks do come into effect a lot for the present story as well. It all exemplifies just how many layers there are to this incarnation of Oliver Queen. It also shows off Stephen Amell's acting range even further and how well he can alternate between past and present selves. Granted, the whole flashback saga would really lose its way in later seasons of Arrow, but here for Season 1, the idea is executed perfectly, and it just makes the show all the more enthralling. And finally, we get John Barrowman, aka Malcolm Merlyn, the Dark Archer, Oliver's arch nemesis. As with everything else here, the Dark Archer is another winner. Green Arrow's greatest enemy is in the comics, and here he's executed excellently. Deep, enthralling, well developed with terrific motivation. Merlyn, to this day, he still stands out as one of the Arrowverse's greatest villains, and Barrowman's performance as the Dark Archer makes for one of the greatest roles of his career. He sets the standard for what these villains should be. There are so many mysteries littered throughout, but again, nothing drags. It all just makes you want to tune in for the next exciting episode. And when the answers come, they satisfy and shock you towards the next chapter. It all builds towards an amazing climax, which you get for the finale. Sacrifice, which changes absolutely everything forever. And it does, and to this day, Sacrifice is still one of the greatest episodes ever in the whole show. It's absolutely amazing all round, and the hits just keep on coming, and you just get all the more amped up every time you watch episodes of Arrow Season 1, and you subsequently get fired up for the second season as well. It's just perfect, absolutely brilliant storytelling. Now, obviously, to be fair and impartial, one does have to analyse the cons of something as well as its pros. But whenever I watch Season 1 of Arrow, I struggle to even nitpick. It's, as I've said before, it's virtually perfect. This is very much the Batman Begins or the Iron Man 1 of the Arrowverse. it gets everything off to an absolutely excellent start. There are very few forgettable episodes here, but even those very forgettable ones are still very, very good. One or two of the characters of the main cast do grate on you at times, but it's only nitpicking, really. You know that even greater things would follow after Arrow Season 1, but who cares, really? I mean, this is still essential television, not just for superhero fans, but I'd also recommend this to the average household as well. It's just sensational, absolutely sensational. Really, the entire Arrowverse, not just Arrow itself, owes everything to the success of Season 1. If this hadn't been so good, we wouldn't have had anything else. No Arrow Season 2, no Flash, no Supergirl, no Legends, etc. The Arrowverse started small with Arrow, like the DC animated universe did with Batman the Animated Series, like Iron Man did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the rest would obviously be history. Arrow Season 1 would be surpassed, but only by a few seasons of other shows. And to this day, as I've said, Arrow Season 1 still remains essential television, and it's still the high standard for all that these superhero shows should be. Overall rating, easily 9 out of 10. Easily 9 out of 10. So, how would you rate Arrow Season 1? Please share your views in the comments below, and remember to click like and please subscribe as well. Join us again next week for the next review, which of course is going to be Arrow Season 2. Take care, stay safe, stay sane, dudes. TTFN, bye-bye for now.